The fishing news is brought to you by Yozori, Humminbird, Minn Kota, Lamiglass, and Navionics.
Hey there, Toby Lapinski for the New England edition of the Fisherman magazine with this week's web video fishing forecast for New England. Well, not sure if someone else used it first or if I came up with the term on my own. It doesn't really matter, but in light of the ongoing concerns over the coronavirus, I'm officially recommending the concept of social distancing to all of you out there in YouTube viewer land. Now, what is this, you might ask? Well, you know, it's simple. It's basically what I and many others have been recommending to you over the last few weeks, and that is to get outdoors and get some fresh air, hopefully while fishing like I'm doing here today. But just keep that recommended 6-foot space between you and your fellow angler. Heck, honestly, 6 feet might even be too close, in my opinion, for most fishing situations. But now we've got a reason, if someone invades that space, to have them give you it. You know, I'm out here today. I also got out over the weekend. Went out for some social distancing of my own with good friend and Rhode Island field editor Jay Hanasek. Now, we hit up one of the TMAs in Connecticut, as they remain open to catch and release angling all year. And we had our sights set on trout in place of the usual striped bass that we generally target together. But nonetheless, we spent a good 4 hours outside. We both caught a few fish. And at the end, when we were walking back to our trucks, we reflected how good it felt to have just finally gotten outside and taken our minds off all the other craziness going on. Now, there's likely some similar water open near you, as there's no trout closure in Massachusetts, for instance. And Connecticut has some 15 special trout management areas which remain open year-round to catch and release angling. So there's a lot of options available. However, got some big news. In the time since I fished over the weekend, Connecticut Governor Ned Lamont signed Executive Order number 7L, which, among a whole bunch of other unrelated things to fishing, opened all inland fishing effectively immediately, including those previously closed trout waters. I've got a news story posted right now at thefisherman.com with all the details as well as a link to it, but that's why I'm here today. I'm out with my son. We're doing a little fishing. He's actually over here over my shoulder, casting away right now. We've already caught a couple of trout on the day. We've had a couple of nice hits. There's a big one we've been working on in this pool. Haven't been able to get it to hit. Maybe after the video we'll have it. But nonetheless, trout season is officially open in Connecticut. You don't have to wait until April 11th. I sent an inquiry off to one of my contacts over in Rhode Island to see if they might be following suit and doing anything along those lines. As of this time, I haven't heard back, but of course, I will pass along the information to you if I do find out anything in Rhode Island. And you know, in the meantime, just be sure to take a look at your local state guides, your fishing guides, access guides, to see what the regulations are, in particular in the water that you're going to target. And speaking of those annual fishing guides, Connecticut released theirs this past weekend. And unfortunately, there was a little bit of a mistake or an error that was printed in regards to striped bass in the inland waters of the state. Now, the marine regulations were printed correctly, but they had a little bit of an error, which I confirmed was incorrectly printed regarding inland freshwater. In short, all Connecticut waters, marine, inland, fresh, wherever you're going to catch a striped bass, have the very same limit. That's 1 fish a day per angler, with a slot limit 28 to 35 inches for harvest. The digital version of the guide has been updated, but at this time there's no plan to reissue this hard paper copy right here that you can see, that you can pick up at this time at your local tackle shop. So again, it's going to incorrectly list the inland waters as the old regs. That is not correct. It's not going to save you if trying to pull a fast one on any of the officers. So everywhere you catch a striped bass, it's 28 to less than 35 inch slot limit. And speaking of striped bass, with the surf fishing season almost upon us here in southern New England, many anglers are starting to give that final once over their gear before things really get going. The last thing you want to be doing is, as you're getting ready to head out, you're checking to make sure that all your gear is right. You should have been doing that all along. This is your last shot at it. And I was talking to regular fisherman contributor Jerry Adet this week of InDeepOutdoors.com, and he started putting out a pretty cool little series of videos where he's talking about everything from his favorite plugs, glide baits, darters, the likes, to hook choices for changing out hooks coming into the season, treble hooks, to fly fishing. I think he said he's got over a dozen of them already filmed that are going to be coming out The first one, the first video was it actually talked about one of my personal favorite surf fishing lures, the darter. I highly recommend you give it a look. He talks all about different darters that he likes to use, why, where, modifications, and so on. Now you can check out his video by visiting his page here on YouTube, or by visiting his website, checking out some of his other articles. That's indeepoutdoors.com. And of course you can expect to read more great articles from Jerry, as well as many other contributors in the coming months in the print issues of the Fisherman magazine. And again, continuing along with preparing for the surf fishing season, let's take a look at a video from Mark Malinovsky as he talks about how he rigs up his truck for surf fishing.
Basically, I've been starting surf fishing in the mid to and late 70s, so I've been on the beach surf fishing for a number of years. Over those years, I've always looked for ways to make my fishing more efficient, more productive, and easier. So when people want to do their surf fishing with a vehicle, you really need to put some thought into how you want to set it up and what best works for you. If you're running beaches, open beaches with a vehicle, what makes it really productive for you and easier is a rack up front to hold your rods, okay? So I have mine set up because I also fly fish saltwater. So I use rack-a-rod system. He has special fly rod holders that mount to his regular rod holders for the surf rods. Does a beautiful job. They're very durable. I've had a number of them on several vehicles, and he's done some improvement over the years, so I wanted to upgrade to a newer one. And this holds 4 regular surf rods, plus I have it set up for 2 fly rods. Now let's take a look at the rod rack on top. All right, let's take a look at the roof rack system I have. I have this one on the front. You might think that this is a little overkill, but this might be my freshwater setup, all right? Set up with fly rods or light spinning rods up there. I can even have room to put a pontoon boat, okay, if I need to. And then back here, when I do the surf, I just add my, my surf system. Basically, I started out building my own racks like everybody else and so forth, and then a lot more companies came in and started building good products, and about the last 5 years I was thinking of upgrading my one. I decided to go with the rack-a-rod. I talked to Hal at several of the shows. I looked at his product, and I know the welds are superb. He's got really good designs. Everything's been updated the last few years, and it's a great product. So I have a 6-rod holder, okay? And also the nice part about it is he does custom work, so I could add fly rods to this as well. It'll hold my spinning rod, but I could put a fly rod in here. This tightens up, holds the reel in there, so I can carry the fly rods either up front on the beach, or when I'm moving from spot to spot on the road, I can also put it on the roof. Now let's go take a look at the back of my truck. Look at the back of the bed here. A lot of thought went into this too. I got tackle storage in here. I have storage for spare gear. You know, as being a guide, you have to have extra equipment sometimes for everybody. A lot of guys don't have it. In the front of the vehicle, in a compartment underneath there, I have my beach safety equipment. I have my jackboard, my tow strap, shovel, fire extinguisher, and in a little compartment on the front here, that's extra storage. I have to carry sometimes equipment for my charters. A lot of times they don't have their own gear, so I'll put it in there. I also keep my sleeping gear in there, a sleeping bag and a pillow, and I'm ready to spend a few days at Montauk or somewhere else if I have to. Now, one little tip I want to give you, just to show you. You might have the same thing if you have a cap on your vehicle as well, is I have a little bungee cord here that I put to the clamp on the cap. And what this allows me to do is, on those rainy days when the fishing's really good, gives me a place to rig up or change lures or whatever, and I'm out of the rain. So gives me a little protection. I also like to carry some plastic bags, all right? If I find any litter, particularly braided line or mono on the beach, pick it up. Don't let the wildlife get entangled. So it's always a good idea to have some plastic bags so you can keep the beach cleaner than when you got there. I'm Mark Melinovsky, and this is how I rig my truck.
Thanks a lot, Mark. That's pretty cool. And if any of you out there would like to show off your beach rig or maybe some of the modifications that you do to your daily driver to make it suit your needs for surf fishing, shoot me an email at Lapinski@thefisherman.com, and we'll see about featuring you in an upcoming video. Now, moving on to the fishing reports. As you either probably already know or already guessed, a lot of the tackle shops have been required to shut down due to state requirements relating to the coronavirus. As I was gathering the fishing reports this week, I tried to keep as best I could a list relating to the status of our advertisers, whether they were opened or closed. However, I will say even in the meantime, some that were closed are now open, some that were opened are now closed. So it's an ever-changing, fluid situation now. But nonetheless, you can see what I came up with as of Monday right now by checking out the link in this week's fishing reports at thefisherman.com. And mixed in with some of those shop closings that I was able to come across, I did squeeze out some fishing info. Now, most of it relates to trout, as I'm doing here today, or holdover striped bass has been the case for some time, and they remain your best bet. But one quick side note. Pretty much all the party boats that I talked to have ceased sailing for the time being. They're not sure when they're going to be able to get back out again, so it's sort of like a temporary halt. Now, this is a combination of everything obviously going on with coronavirus combined with the poor fishing that they've just been coming across lately on the cod ground. So it just made sense. Pull the boats, get them clean, get them prepped, do the final winter work on them so they're ready to go when things return to normal soon enough. But talking about what you can catch right now, starting with those holdover striped bass. Herring have been filtering into the local runs for a few weeks now. Striped bass in the larger tidal rivers have obviously begun to take notice, finding a new large fresh food source. But it just goes, you'd be hard-pressed to think that some of the fish near the runs out that feed directly into the ocean also don't have some fish around. Now, I haven't spoken to anyone directly yet that has targeted a run that dumps right into the ocean. Only those have been hitting, the tidal rivers. But I went poked around this week myself. I saw some herring, some signs of life. So if you've got a good warm afternoon and a productive tide coming up, I would recommend at least giving it a few casts. Just like I'm here today, giving it a shot, didn't know what to expect, caught a couple of fish. Same thing might just happen for you if you poke around near one of your local herring runs. Switching back over to freshwater options, Evan of Big Nose Bassin, as well as Black Hall Outfitters, has been hammering some really big trout lately on the fly in the Clinton area. He's landed several 5+ pound fish in the last week alone. Now, my guess is that he was fishing the TMAs because prior to today, anything else wasn't open. But with all these trout waters open, as noted earlier, your options have expanded immensely. Now, one thing I will note, normally this is the last push, these last couple of weeks before trout season opens, where they do the final stocking. So you might hit your spot that should have gotten fish on opening day, and they haven't gotten to them yet. Now, I know the state is going to be running around catching up in the meantime, but don't be too surprised if your chosen spot does not have some fish on it. Or, like we found today, there might be some holdovers from last year's stockings that are still hanging out in here, so you just never know what you're going to find. And with all the fish being caught, and of course those that are going to be caught in the coming weeks, I got to throw out my annual spring request / reminder. As we're once again producing those weekly magazines beginning next week, I'm in need of cover photos. So please email photos of your recent catches. As always, I need them the original, high resolution, unedited. Don't tweak them. Just send me the original photo. Preferably a vertical format. That means like this, not like this. So the vertical format, if you send them in horizontal, I can work with some of them, and I'm not going to deny them. Send them on over. We will find a home for them, whether in my videos or other spots. But again, Lapinski@thefisherman.com. You just might see yourself on the cover of an upcoming copy of The Fisherman. And last up, April issue is due out next week. We're just putting the finishing touches on it today, with the reports coming in on Sunday going to print. Now from there, expect to receive your print subscription in your mailbox later next week. And of course, the digital version will be available for you online on Monday before the hard copies reach your mailbox. This leads me to the final couple notes of the week. First up, I've got a how-to video from Fisherman multimedia producer Tim Smith. He's going to show you how to access your digital subscription, and then I'm going to follow that up with a special message from Fisherman owner and publisher Michael Caruso. So before I get to those, if you plan to head out and fish this weekend, I, as always, wish you tight lines on the water.
To view the magazine online, the first thing you need to do is set up a user account if you don't have one already on thefisherman.com. Click on subscriptions, then click Create User Account. Fill in the info as it appears on your mailing label of your magazine. Then click Find Subscription and complete by entering your email address and assigning a password. Now you're all set to view the digital editions. You can find the digital version of the magazine by clicking on Magazine, then Current Digital Editions, select your edition you would like to view, then click on the red box, Already a Subscriber, then enter your email and password. Next, click on View Edition, and the magazine will load in your browser. If you need to zoom in, select the magnifying glass on the bottom. You can also pinch and zoom on devices that support touchscreens. If you have any issues, you can always call the Fisherman at 866-347-4836 or email us at info@thefisherman.com.
Over the last few weeks, life as we know it has changed for everyone. The global COVID-19 pandemic has placed challenges on the lifestyles of the entire fishing community, including readers, advertisers, our vendors, and our staff. First and foremost, we wish you, our fisherman family, safety, good health. Better days are most definitely ahead of all of us. Efforts to control the spread of coronavirus have resulted in non-essential business closures in many states within our readership area. And with quarantines and school closures, the entire country, but especially the Northeast, is in lockdown mode. Our weekly printing and delivery system is especially vulnerable to a major slowdown in production and delivery of the print magazine. As a result, weekly newsprint issues will cease for the foreseeable future and be replaced with an enhanced digital magazine available to subscribers online at thefisherman.com. Not to worry, we're hard at work publishing your magazine, and that will never stop. The digital magazine version will ensure that you receive timely fishing reports to the best of our capabilities, features, news, and the images as our spring fishery explodes into action. There's no change with our monthly print magazine, and it will continue to be mailed to you. The April issue actually mails next Monday. Again, here's the new subscription plan for now. You'll continue to receive 12 monthly glossy full-feature print issues in the magazine format, and they'll be delivered to your home. The weekly newsprint issues will be available in their digital magazine format every Monday for subscribers to access on thefisherman.com. You could also access all the archives as well. Plenty to read at thefisherman.com. Accessing your digital edition online is really very easy. Below are some of the instructions that'll help you access the magazine on any device connected to the internet. But we're here to help. We want to get you set up. Just call 866-347-4836 or email us at info@thefisherman.com, and we will do our best to get you connected. And as many of you know already and have discovered, we recently rolled out the Fisherman TV on Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, and Android TV, which delivers our best fishing videos to your TV. Check it out while you're at home. I thank you for your support now. I thank you for your support in the future. Know that we will adapt to any and every situation that we are confronted with. We're wishing you good fishing, good health. Be safe out there. Thank you.